Hi. Welcome to the No Te Rindas Intermediate English Stories podcast. Este es un podcast para hispanohablantes que quieren mejorar su comprensión auditiva del inglés de los Estados Unidos. Soy tu presentador Goyo, un maestro que vive en Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Y también soy de herencia mexicana. Una vez al mes presento una lección que enseña inglés y elementos de la cultura estadounidense, utilizando una anécdota breve. Our regular listeners will note that my brother Gabe is not on the show today. From now on, I will focus on one short story each episode by myself. And today's story is very short. It's just a phone conversation. Gabe and I, speaking of the telephone, still speak quite regularly, usually by phone and sometimes by video chat. Today's show will focus on a handful of idioms commonly used around this time of year, specifically phrases common in conversations about New Year's resolutions. Let's start with New Year's resolutions, the phrase that we use to say what our plans are for change in the new year. So normally, in English, a resolution is a solution to a problem. And that might be how New Year's resolutions started as a concept. But nowadays, a New Year's resolution is more like a pledge or a promesa o compromiso. So I just want to warn you that these words don't generalize in the same way across the two languages. For example, if a resolution is a compromiso, and tengo un compromiso a las 6 means I have a commitment at 6, or I have an appointment at 6, are commitment and appointment, and then resolution also synonyms in English? No, they are not. For example, my New Year's resolution is to call my mother every Sunday. But it does not sound native to me to say, I have a resolution on Sunday with my bicycle group, for example. But instead, I have an appointment, or I have a standing appointment with my bicycle group this Sunday. A propósito, standing appointment, standing in this case means that it's regular. It's a regular appointment. It's something that happens, every week, every month, on a regular schedule. So my New Year's resolution is to eat fewer donuts. But first, I have to go to my appointment at my dentist's office to fill some cavities. Resolution does not work in the second part of that sentence at all. So the first one was resolution, and some of the problems you might have learning English with that word. Another common theme in this time of year is to lose weight. Certainly something on my mind every January. So in English, we don't tend to talk about lowering our body weight like you do in Spanish. We lose body weight, and without a preposition like of either. So bajar de peso translates to lose weight. My New Year's resolution is to lose 15 pounds before the summer. So resolution, lose weight, and now two phrases with the word get in them. Get. The first is get organized, which is sort of the simpler one, the more basic one, the more achievable one. And then the other one that's a little more ambitious is get my act together. So my New Year's resolution is to get organized, or if I'm being a bit more drastic, it's to get my act together. So notice, please, the term get is used in both of these. This is less like the verb conseguir or obtener in this context, and more just like the reflexive pronoun se in Spanish. Ella se organizó durante los 2 días del fin de semana. She got organized over the weekend. Johnny says that he wants to get his act together this year and stop drinking. Johnny dice que quiere ponerse las pilas este año y parar de tomar alcohol. All right, so that was get organized, get my act together. Kind of like se in some cases in Spanish. Next we have eat healthy or eat more healthy. Very common to hear people say, my New Year's resolution is to eat more healthy o comer más saludable. Now, as a grammar construct, you may have noticed that adverbs, words that describe verbs in this case, often end in ly in English, like they end in mente in Spanish. So you can say in English, I want to eat more healthily this year. Healthily. Did you hear the ly, the li on the end? But man, almost no one says that. My New Year's resolution is to eat more healthy this year. That expression may make some English teachers kind of groan, but it's still very common. So that was eat healthy. Let's talk about spending money or spending less money and saving more money. Kind of the same thing around this time of year. So in English, we often say that we want to spend less money as a New Year's resolution. Do you also commit to this every year? So a quick word here about gastar in Spanish as spend and gasto as expense. Spend and expense are clearly related. They're from the same Latin lineage in English. But there is a false similarity that can creep into the mind here, at least as I see it, coming from the teacher's side of things. So if gasto is expense in English, and I don't have my online dictionary open, it is tempting to think of gastar as to expend. Expense, expend, right? They're similar. One spends money, but we don't really expend money. That doesn't sound good. We expend energy. We expend oxygen, but we spend money. So my New Year's resolution is to spend less money. So that was just a thought that I had. We spend money, but we have expenses related to our business or profession or something like that, where we have hotel costs or meals that we fill out on a report called an expense report. Similarly, we often pledge to save more money each new year. Do you do that as well? To me, the word save is interesting for Spanish speakers because it is more flexible in English, I perceive, than in Spanish. You guys have ahorrar, guardar, and salvar. And all of these are inside the meaning of save in English, at least in certain contexts. So listen to these. I save money by downloading coupons in my web browser. That would be ahorrar dinero, right? Sometimes I save a Word document under a new name so that it's easy for me to track changes. So that would be like guardar, right? Guardar un documento de Word. And finally, I saved my brother's life once when we were little kids. He was running into the street to get a ball, and I grabbed him before he stepped into traffic. Hey, watch it, kid. So, lo salvé would be the Spanish, but I saved him in English. Y a propósito, I just made that up. That didn't really happen. Okay, here's a quick conversation between two friends about their New Year's resolutions. To give you some context and a bit more repetition, the two friends are named Nick and Reggie. It was good to see you at the New Year's Eve party, Reggie. Can we see you and your wife again this Saturday? It was so much fun.
That's very kind of you, but I'm afraid that I need to say no. My New Year's resolution this year is to save money, and we spent too much on champagne for the party.
Oh no, you misunderstand me. My New Year's resolution is to lose weight this year. Can you and Diane meet us at the park on Saturday evening and just take a walk with us? I want to talk about your daughter's experience at Georgia Tech.
Oh, I see. That sounds great. We're having a garage sale on Saturday, but if I can get my act together, we should be able to finish and clean up before the afternoon is over. Would 5:30 be okay? Say, Fuller's Park?
That sounds great. See you then. All right, it's time for the quiz. Question number 1. A resolution is not a synonym for A, an appointment, B, a pledge, or C, a solution to a problem. If you said A, an appointment, that is correct. Resolution does not work as the word appointment in English, but it does work as the word pledge or the solution to a problem, among other meanings. Number 2, an English textbook might say that it's a good plan to eat healthier or to eat more healthily. But what is the more common alternative to these that you would hear say on the street? A, to eat your health. B, to eat more Heath bars. Or C, to eat more healthy. If you said C, to eat more healthy, that is correct. No one says to eat your health. And to eat more Heath bars would mean to eat more candy bars that are from the brand called Heath. And they're quite delicious, but they are not healthy. They are not healthy eating, as we would say. And then finally, the words ahorrar, salvar, y guardar can have a single English word that substitutes for them in many cases. That word is A, rescue, B, save, or C, store. If you said B, save, you remember correctly what I said during the podcast. Thank you so much. Save is a very flexible word in English. Do you have children at home that would benefit from learning English? My new YouTube program for kids called Where Does Gary Go is ready for them to watch. Like this podcast, Where Does Gary Go tells stories, but it also uses original songs, animation, and eventually curriculum to help children to get started in their learning of English without difficulty. It is musical, colorful, humorous, and entertaining. This week, for example, I am uploading an original song and music video that teaches words for cold, winter, and winter clothing. Please watch for and tell others with children in elementary school about Where Does Gary Go? Only on YouTube. Listeners from all over the USA checked out the episode about how Americans get together from December of last year. Thank you, Katy, Texas, again, Turlock, California, Raleigh, North Carolina, Hollywood, Florida, Chicago, Illinois, and the many others who checked out that episode in the U.S. I want to thank my listeners in Germany and Spain, whose numbers continue to grow, especially in Potsdam, Murcia, Burgos, Catalunya, and Malaga. I was almost able to go to Malaga during my recent trip to Sevilla, but could not make it happen. I would very much like to visit. Maybe next time. A special thank you to listeners in Singapore, where 4 new cities tuned into the show. Wow, that's amazing. Thanks a bunch. And finally, listeners in Armenia are checking out the show in greater numbers, as well as Romania and Poland. Many thanks. Please watch for the next episode of No Te Rindas Intermediate English Stories on the first Sunday of every month. If you wish to support this show, go to patreon.com/No Te Rindas Podcast. Thanks for listening.